I will just explain how we collect the samskaras for the newcomers. If you have already done ASP, you might have been introduced to this idea, to this truth. How many of you coming first time without doing any ASP? Wow, big group. Then let me introduce. Here I am trying to present it through a simple diagram. How you collect engrams. First, you see something through the eyes. And the five, actually, eyes are dead mechanism. The energy which sees through the eyes is different from eyes. The file goes to the energy through which you see through the eyes. That is what we call chakshu. Please understand. Eyes are by themselves have no intelligence to see. Have no energy to see. There is something else seen through the eyes. That is why sometimes even if the eyes are open, if you are intensely listening to music, you will not be able to see. Or even if the ears are open, if you are intensely doing something else, you will not hear. Because the senses are different and the energy with which you are seeing is different. The energy with which we see is called chakshu. The whole file goes to chakshu. Chakshu does an important process. Chakshu does the job of digital signal processor, like in computers. How the signals are converted to digital file. Any data is converted to digital file. Same way, all the things you see is converted into a kind of a file with which you can do the inner process. The file is converted and it goes to memory. The file goes to memory where all your memories are stored. There the identification starts happening. Oh, this is not this, this is not this. For example, if you are seeing me now, eyes are seeing, through eyes you are seeing, the file goes to DSP, digital signal processor. There the file gets converted into signals, then it goes to memory. The memory starts analyzing, oh, this is not a tree, this is not an animal, this is not a stone, this is not this is not that. The analyzing goes on. Then the file goes to manas, mind, where the identification is done. Identification means, this is it, oh, he is a man, he is teaching meditation, he is wearing saffron robe. All this identification starts happening. Then the file goes to the ego, where the decision making happens. That is where the samskaras come into play. Please understand. The ego starts thinking, what is there for me at this situation, in this moment? Your ego starts deciding, should I sit here or not? If you already had some good idea, opinion or experience with whatever way you classify me, if you classify me as a yoga teacher, if you already have a good experience, earlier yoga teachers, you will say, let me sit. If you classify me as a spiritual leader, if you already had a good experience with spiritual leader, you will say, oh, let me sit. If you whatever way you classify me, with your past experience you will decide. If you did not have a good past experience, naturally what you will say, oh, this is not for me, let me get up and go. This is not the place for me, this is not the thing for me. You will just say, let me get up and go. You will decide based on how you classify me. That decision making, the problem is it has gone. I think all samskaras have disappeared. Anyhow, better let me explain with this. This is the area where samskaras stay. The file comes here. After the identification, it goes to ego. Ego responds. How it wants to respond, whether to sit and continue or to move out. When you take the decision, if it is like this straight, simple process, there won't be a problem. But the samskaras, engrams which sits here, perverts your decision-making process. For example, if you are hurt by somebody who was wearing saffron cloth or white cloth, then immediately, for no reason, without logic, the same fear or the same suffering will come up. You can see many times. If you are hurt by somebody in beach, whenever you cross that beach, the same suffering will come up. That is what I call samskaras, unnecessary interference, which perverts your decision making. Unnecessary interference, which perverts your decision making, is what I call samskaras. Continuously, every decision you make is perverted, disturbed, interfered by the unnecessary samskaras. The samskaras which are not needed. This is the way continuously you are struggling with yourself. You are struggling with your samskaras. Let's start working on the first layer, the physical layer. One more thing I just want to tell you all. If you have any questions, if you are not able to understand some concept, or if you are not able to understand some word, usually all the Sanskrit words which I use, I give a translation. If you are not able to understand some word, some technical term or some concept, you can write as a question and put it. Surely I will answer, I will try to respond. The questions are mainly for the sake of in which plane you wanted to relate with me. See, the programs which I conduct are not the same. Don't think that the same thing I am repeating. There is no such thing as same thing I repeat. Maybe the meditation techniques will be same, but the way in which I present or the way in which the work happens will be dependent on the way in which you are able to relate, the amount of things you are able to receive. So your questions will clearly show me how you want to relate and how you are relating. It will add a lot more to the classes and sessions. So any question you have about the subjects I am talking, please write it and drop it in the question box. Better to avoid the questions which are not related to this subject, otherwise you will be wasting time. I have seen people asking, is Jyotisha true? Is Vastu true? Is there something called black magic? Wasting time. I always tell people ask me, is the stones have power? I tell them, if you are just believing some stone for your life, then your life is nothing more than a stone. Anyhow, there are some truths in Vastu because it's a great science, but the problem is in the modern day it has become a business and it has lost its sanctity and truth. That's the reason usually I tell people, bother about the Vastu, forget about Vastu. Bother about Vastu, and we don't have to waste the time in unnecessary questions. And one more thing, people ask just to show that they know. That's another big problem. Some big technical terms, some big words they use just to show that they know or to get the attention. Please avoid that too. Anything directly related to the subject they are handling, I'll surely respond. This diagram will explain how the samskaras pervert your decision making, how the samskaras misguide your handling your mind, you handling your mind. Because every decision, if it is perverted and disturbed, naturally your life will be moving towards more and more pain and suffering. So, understand about samskaras. Here I am just trying to present kind of a how you have your 7 bodies. It's like a layer by layer. The more you go deeper and deeper, it will subtle and subtle. First, the outermost layer is this physical layer, the physical body which you are carrying. The second layer is prana, the breathing you do. Third layer is inner chattering, mind. The fourth layer is emotions. And the fifth layer is deep sleep, karana sarira, where all your engrams are silent but not dead. They are not active. The deep sleep engrams are not active, but they are not dead. They are, it's called in a seed form, causal layer. They are in a causal form, seed form, but they are not active. They call it karana sarira in Sanskrit. They are in causal form. And the 6th body is anma sarira, cosmic body. And the 7th body is nirvana sarira, the enlightenment body, enlightenment layer. We can say that the ultimate layer. So this is the way you are structured. Actually, we have put the circles because every layer you go inside, you go to the core of your being. You reach towards your being. The first layer. Let's understand few things about the first layer. Physical body, the body which you are carrying with flesh and bones, is the first layer. The main engram which you store in this physical body is chronic fatigue, deep tiredness. Understand? Whether it is outer world or inner world, in both you will not be able to do anything if this deep tiredness continues. Chronic fatigue. People ask me many times, Swamiji, should I give up outer world to achieve the inner world? I tell them, it is idiotic just because of your deep tamas, your chronic fatigue, you are asking this question. There is no such thing as giving up or need to give up. To tell you honestly, the person who does proper exploration in the inner journey will gather so much of wealth around him. Because he knows from which plane to work. Understand, not gathering wealth is not spirituality. Relax from that idea. Poverty is not spirituality. Then whole India would have been long before enlightened. No, it's an idiotic idea of associating poverty with spirituality. Associate poverty with your nonsensical foolishness and laziness. See, some religions have started making poverty as a spirituality. These guys wanted to give some consolation for the poor guys. It's actually political. The person who is having has to keep the person who does not have in silence without doing the revolution or revolting. So he created priests who will go around and constantly preach, blessed are poor. What kind of blessing is there in poverty? I don't understand. No, I tell you, I lived in poverty. I lived in utter poverty. And still I live in poverty. My whole monthly expense is 45 rupees. That's all is my monthly expense. My blade and the soap. Nothing else. The same food which is given to everybody I eat. Of course, this whole set dress is $3. $3 means what? Maybe 150 rupees. That's all. Nothing else. And my whole life, the average per month expense is 40 rupees it comes. Every year some 2-3 set. and one chappal is 45 rupee, over. I live in poverty, I tell you, poverty has nothing to do with spirituality. Of course, I live in poverty as my option, not as anything else. I lived in poverty, I have seen. Poverty has something to do with your deep laziness. It's something to do with your deep laziness. People who can't achieve anything, who are caught in this laziness, the chronic fatigue, they live in poverty. Not only that, they live in deep inner poverty also. They will have poverty in the inner world and the outer world, both. To remove the tamas, only tapas is given. Tapas means doing something which you feel you can't do. Understand? In Sanskrit we have a word, asatya sadhaka. If you think you cannot walk 100 miles, try at least once and finish walking 100 miles. Take 20 days off from your routine. I tell you, if you do something which you feel you can never do, the respect towards you, the respect which you have towards you will just develop, explode. Self-respect is the first important thing for life. Doing something which you think you can't do. Chronic fatigue is the first samskara, first layer you are carrying. You can see in your life. If you just work for 5-6 hours, you feel you have done something great. And the idea, you have to become tired after this time, comes because of this chronic fatigue. Understand one important truth. Chronic fatigue comes the moment you take your life for granted. When you don't celebrate your life, fatigue happens, boredom happens. Boredom is the root cause for fatigue. You think the same routine you are following. One king who had this boredom, always kings fall into boredom. See, kings are the idiots who have wealth and doesn't know how to enjoy. No, really. Let me tell you, without the knowledge or the inspiration to enjoy, if you gather wealth around you, you will become like king. You will have depression. Wealth brings depression many times. Whether it is poverty or wealth, the knowledge is the basic thing. Just few minutes ago I was saying, poverty is nonsense. Now I am saying wealth is nonsense. And what to do? Whether poverty or wealth, have the intelligence. Without intelligence, when the wealth gathers, it brings depression or boredom. One guy who is depressed like this, filled with boredom, when the boredom comes, naturally the chronic fatigue, you will not feel like moving out of the bed. I have seen people get out of the bed only when the sun reaches them through the window, not through east side, west side. They get out of their bed only when the sun touches them through the window. Chronic fatigue, tired of taking rest. Now you can see in your life many times. Why are you so tired? Oh, I took long rest. Human being is the only animal who is not fresh after rest. Really? See the calf, see the cat. That's why I live with animals. Near my quarters, no human beings are there. I don't want to see them early morning. Who want to see them early morning? I want to see the calf and cats. I want to see the animals. Because they are so alive. The moment they get up, they stretch the whole body, jump around. Even if they are tied with the rope, they just jump wherever they are. So fresh. And these fellows, the moment they get up early morning, what they do? Roll and lie down. Just roll in the bed, turn this side and pull the blanket. The chronic fatigue comes because you take the life for granted. Remembering death is a very powerful method. Going through the death is a very powerful method to remove the chronic fatigue, to remove that feeling of boredom. Then you won't take your life for granted. Then you know what all you will miss if you die. What all you are given by the life.